And that's the beauty and magic of light. Suddenly, the light or lights get switched on. And in an instant, there's belief. In an instant, there's encouragement. In an instant, there's uplift. In an instant, there's rethinking. In an instant, there's reimagining. In an instant, there's possibility. All of these things can happen in an instant. An attitude change, an energy shift. Why? Because a light has got switched on. Just like that, a dark room has been lit up. The Secret World of Light podcast. I'm Martin Perry and with my friend and co-host Petter Polfedt. Petter, greetings.
Greetings, Martin. Nice to see you tonight.
You too. Tonight, something different. Stories from the lights. Petter will read to us an evocative and reflective story from a moment in his life. And will also intimate the lights that he feels appeared in this story and through this story. And we'll see where it leads. Petter,
Yeah.
over to you.
Okay, here I am. I have this is a story that I wrote about a year ago, and it's a story from my life. It's what I say, a biographical event. And the what caused me to write it was a question from you, Martin. You suggested, what if you have moments in your life when you think back and remember your life? There were significant moments where something of a light experience might have happened. After you propositioned me that thought and gave me that, in a sense, question, I started to remember things, and sometimes there are these moments that you remember that are have a mystery about them, or a sense of importance about them. And so I remembered something from childhood, and this was perhaps early autumn 23, and this was from the same summer when just a few weeks before we met and you asked this question. So this is a story when you were introducing the lights work and the full 23 lights in a school-like situation. Summer 23, probably the 26th or the 27th of July. I am a father. I am low and lonely. I've gone to the lake at my father's summer resort. My son, 18, is in his bed with his phone. He didn't want to join me. I asked. He said, no, that's okay. Walking down is a short walk, maybe 400 meters. I'm quiet, in a calm, contemplative state. It's a Swedish summer day, not too hot. Sun is out and the sky is partly overcast with clouds. So I get into my swim costume and stand at the edge of the jetty. I know I'm in a grudgy, slightly off state. You might call it sad and blue, perhaps worried, tired too, the kind of tired that comes with age. Once there, I look out at the lake. Now what? My emotions are uneasy. Is this my life? Like, my son doesn't join me. I breathe in, out to settle, and I go into an internally searching attitude. And at this point, I'm caused to lean my head to the right, and it produces a slight challenge to self, gentle but firm, questioning not with words, but with a sentiment emanating from inside that might be expressed. Really, aren't we a tad precious now? It's a sudden signal. At this point, a soft rain starts to fall. It's odd. It's as if nature herself was joining the conversation, wetting the would-be swimmer before he's in the water. In anticipation, kindly taunting. The light reflected by the water alters. The raindrops are causing small white and silver splashes and ripples. Well, something prompts. From inside, the words, "I'm a father," appear. My state alters. I feel joy and resolve. A smile comes to my face. The gloom is gone, and I become open to the beauty around. My living situation and destiny, no great unease. I can settle and be content. Still a bit tired and sort of blue, but in a light way. Certainly not without other color, beckonings, and things to do. And after a moment, I jump in the water for a quick swim. That ends the story. Now, because I was new to the lights at this point, I tried to see which are the lights at play. From the 23 lights, there are a few lights that I could then detect inside this story. There's the light, the reflecting light, which is the contemplative nature of the whole thing, the inner dialogue, walking by myself, thinking. There is a beacon light, which is, to me, seems to be the inner pressure to rise above it. Like I'm not content with how I'm sitting with this feeling of unease inside. And there's an urgence calling to good housekeeping and attitude, so I'm addressing that in my feeling and thought. There's a glisten light and the soft light with the peace of nature around me and with the self-care walking down through the path through the forest. There's a gentleness. I was not being dismissive. I was trying to look out and be open to nature. There's the dazzling light. Now, the dazzling light is defined as self-challenging, growing, inspiring. And I was challenging myself because I noticed this unease was going on. So there's the virtues of good housekeeping disciplines, self-challenge of not allowing the blue sadness, but demanding of myself, somehow found in the body language the semi-conscious act of leaning my head to the side, like defiantly. And this, whatever caused it, exactly synchronized with the silvery light rain starting to fall, like nature, God's dazzling love and humored presence. So that's a mystery, isn't it? The mystery light, because can a human interact with nature in such a way that the rain suddenly starts to fall? Another light that turns up is the nature of the strength and the not being easily moved and having, in a sense, the grit to go through it. I call that the diamond light, the light of values. Illumination light, having the wisdom to stay patiently with the process, having the wisdom to work to resolve the issue, somehow knowing that if patience comes with the patient effort comes a result. So there's a confidence that comes from that light. There's the shining light, which is the result at the end when I discover the rain starts to fall. I can't help but be moved by the humor of it and the timing of it and the honesty that challenges me, like the right kind of fear, really, aren't you tad precious now? So there's this strength that is remarkable, otherworldly, that in a sense explodes inside. And I'm smiling, of course, I cannot not. And remembering, one might call it, some people use the word remembering for that kind of moment. And it switched a warming, shining light on. and the honesty of the situation, because there was a humble honesty in the feeling. I would place that with the eternal light. And the last thing I write is in the bottom line of this is somehow the whole weave of the whole story and everything that happened is this is the world we live in. These are the kind of things that happen here, and at a place with the divine light, there's a wonder there and a thankfulness for that, and just appreciation of the very fact of the world we live in. There, Martin, my story is from 2023, June 6, 26 or 27. Um,
Thank you very much. It shows the value of how reflection and beacon work together. Reflective light, the time to be with you. The beacon light, this like the light of our guidance system, designed to constantly be reflecting or showing to us the path that leads to the who we are not yet. And the challenge for the beacon light is how it gets our attention, particularly when we are walking down the line of variance away from the line of potential, how it gets our attention. And reflection strikes me as being like a sanctuary for the person to go to think about, dwell, muse upon, contemplate, assess, measure, weigh up at any given period in time, where the beacon light is going, well, in the weighing up and assessing of a situation, ultimately, am I walking down the line of variance, or am I still on track down the line of my potential, the line of my unlit lights? Or am I taken to the sanctuary in a place called reflection to actually muse upon the fact that I've drifted away from? I'm being, you know, I'm processing shadow lights and shadow psychologies at this point in time. And I'm wondering if the beacon and reflection work together, where the beacon can help create a gathering in a place called reflection, because it's now time to weigh up rather than walking further down the path of variance away from the line of potential. It's like this great, beautiful inner intelligence systems that's working that knows you better than you know yourself
yeah,
and can prompt and whisper, I am a father, knowing the vitality of these words and what they may cause in changing states or bringing you back down the line of potential because that's a living light. I am a father is a living light of function, parent, guardian, custodian, mentor, bringing love, companionship, compassion, devotion. That's a living light. And maybe the words I'm a father connect you into the living light. And the beacon has the intelligence about where you are at any given moment in time in relation to your living light. You begin the story by being sad and isolated.
yeah.
But soon enough, I am a father brings you into a living light through the living intelligence system, which is your beacon light, through the vehicle and theatre of reflection.
What would you say about this challenging prompt? Because observing myself in this reflecting nature of process, um, this is a beautiful summer day. I'm by a lake in a peaceful Swedish forest. I'm alive and well. I can't really complain. My son is there with his phone and he's being a teenager. And so somehow the gloom and tiredness of wanting more is somewhat out of place. And then this voice prompts, or it's not really a voice, it's a feeling, but it has that nature, as I would translate into words. Oh, aren't you Ted Precious now? Sort of pointing the finger at me in an exorcist way. It exorcises the gloom, and I cannot help but become, uplifted. What's the challenge there? Where does that come from?
Well, I don't know if it's dazzling as such. It may be low end dazzling, as in, if dazzling has 10 levels,
Yeah.
and the highest level of dazzling is a level of virtuosity that brings in so much light, it can last generations, like, say, a Shakespeare.
Mm,
Maybe the low end is the beginnings of challenging, of taking oneself to the edge of one's talent, because there's a restlessness that comes from being safe. So the challenge takes one to the edge of one's talent, the beginning of a journey that may potentially lead to dazzling. But I think the challenge itself is laser light,
yeah.
in actually wanting to exercise a greater concentrate of focus,
Yeah.
intensity, power, like a growth vitamin.
Yeah.
There's an urge and a prompt that growth, being a companion to our journey of potential, something is prompting, like change, almost hints of ultraviolet as well, the light of change, that go, I'm dissatisfied with the status quo. I'm dissatisfied with the current feeling I have about myself.
Yes.
Restlessness. The ultraviolet is prompting, my friend, we now need a complete change of state, a complete change of feeling, a complete change of mood, because the next sequence of living lights is waiting to get switched on.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because sometimes we have feelings, and the feelings aren't really reliable. Like I was feeling off and blue, and of course it informs me of something, maybe I needed to walk down through the forest and go to the lake and have a bit of a reflection. But so the feeling of not being entirely sitting well with myself. But I don't have to hold on to that feeling. I can let it go.
Of
And
course.
and
Oh,
and,
but you can only let it go if it feels inappropriate.
yes, it certainly did.
You have to have a measuring device that go, well, this feeling isn't something I want. If the downside of reflection is melancholy, the shadow
Mm,
light rather of reflection is melancholy.
yeah.
And in melancholy, you would wallow in that feeling.
Yeah.
Reflection doesn't allow you to wallow because it's assessing, weighing up, measuring, filtering. It's a living meditation on where I am now at this stage in my life, or in this moment in my life, or in this day in my life.
And because the melancholy, let's put the word melancholy with the state of feelings, and perhaps it is the reflection shadow light that was at play in the feeling life. Uh, Something said that feeling is not worthy of you, who you are, and what you are. That state, that shadow is in a sense below standards. And it pointed it out like a good friend would. So I wonder if that's, I could wonder about angelic influences or local
Or,
spirits. Or,
or, or, or the work of the beacon light,
yeah,
the guidance that knows you better than you know yourself, prompting you away from feelings
yeah,
that that are taking you away from your line of potential, the who you are not yet.
yes. Because what another thing that happened in this situation after this release happened and the correction, if we put it that way, had taken place, Then my own situation was much more clear. My feet were really on the ground.
Sure, because the light has got switched on.
My son is up there and he's not really communicating very well. And perhaps I could do something about it. And it was more within reach to act in response to the situation or within the situation. And there were perceptions about it and understandings. So there was a better state of mind. Let's say I came into my right mind.
Sure, that's right. But if the I am a father coded light is getting switched on, it's going to bring intelligence
Hmm.
because it's a living light. Your beacon light guides you to the I am a father living light, coded light, which now brings better intelligence and perception about your situation, leading to settlement and well-being.
Yes, there was settlement and well-being indeed. If the light of guidance, you're using the word knows you better than you know you. Now, would you expand on that?
As in, one of the lights being the beacon light, its function being to keep us on track down the line of our potential, which means the line of our unlit lights, the lights coded in us which have not yet been switched on. And its function, I believe, is to keep us on track. But to do that, it almost has to have, or it has to have, access to the all of us or all of our lights. So the beacon is like a father light to all the lights, has access to all the lights, and has access to everything that's ever happened inside those lights. And as a result, knows us, knows how we think, knows how we behave, knows our patterns. It's a genius idea to be an inner guidance system, an inner compass, a beacon light, helping us to stay on track and knowing when we're off track and trying to get our attention, not by beating us over the head, but with subtle prompts and whispers
Yeah,
that get our attention. And sometimes our feelings can also be part of those subtle prompts.
yeah,
I feel sad, I feel down, but I don't feel right about being sad or down, or this is bothering me feeling sad or down.
yeah,
Now allows us to reflect about why we're sad or down.
yeah,
Now that may well be our beacon light getting our attention through our feelings
yeah,
to cause us to feel a certain way that now then it causes us to question why we're feeling that way. And now suddenly, I am a father appears. Now suddenly a change of state. But there's a sequence of events that leads there from I'm sad and down to now I am a father to uplift.
This is a most remarkable thing. We return to it often, that the lights inform you.
That's correct because they are living intelligences. And they will download their intelligence when the next sequence of lights begins to reveal itself, it will do so by revealing prompts, guidance, instincts, feelings, senses as to the what next. That's the living intelligence of the light starting to speak to you, get your attention.
It's fascinating. I don't know what to say. I've experienced it, and I recognize the experience that you're describing. I don't know where to take it or where to go with it because
That's okay. It's a beautiful mystery. Just the very fact of I am a father appearing as a guidance is enough to have a reverence for the fact that in a down moment, something can come to aid, to help, to support, to uplift because it wishes to do so. And in an instant, everything can change.
great work. This incredible new work.
So, thank you, Petter, for sharing I Am a Father, the story from Sweden in 2023.
Yeah.
This has been Stories from the Light with my friend Petter Polfedt. I'm Martin Perry. We'll see you next week.
Bye.